Greetings once again, spacefaring adventurers. Duuz-Diz-Din back with more Eden Zero, where previously, with Homer's defeat of Lady Freya, the Oresian says Galactica have been taken down. However, our heroes are still being chased by the Eden's One, who is currently firing upon them, and so they're charging their main cannon to fire back, to finally deal with the Eden's One once and for all. All the while, Ziggy is still dealing with Void, and they seem to be at a bit of a stalemate, although you can always tell how the battle's gonna go when someone uses their power-up and the villain doesn't. Ziggy's in overdrive and Void isn't. It should kinda tell you where this is probably gonna go. While Shiki and Rebecca were still watching Mother fade away, they realized that they probably weren't going to be able to get to the chronophage in time, despite the efforts of Lobelia and Couchpoo, which kinda sucks considering like we brought them into a story just for their role to be insignificant, I guess. And so Shiki decided to expedite things, warping his way to Xiaomei, which, man, that's a long distance to travel, I'm realizing. I mean, I know his warp could get some distance to it, but to be able to warp from the one cosmos all the way back to the Sakura cosmos, like, dang, like, just dawning on me how far that is. Regardless, he goes to Xiaomei and is very much hinted that Xiaomei is somehow the moon, which I have so many questions about that. But he asks Xiaomei to help lead him towards the chronophage, which she does as she cares about Mother. And so as Shiki makes his way to the chronophage, the question of, well, how are you gonna get it to do what you want comes to mind, and he decides, I'm gonna go inside it. And so he goes down the gullet of the chronophage, encountering a tempest within the beast's belly. And in that tempest is a female figure, demanding to have her time returned to her. Who is this being at the heart of the chronophage? A potential alternate version of Rebecca, or something else? And why are they there? Join me as I find out. Hopefully, won't you? Alright, have a nice map of things. Love it when series do this just to get your bearings. We see Shiki encountering the chronophage over in some other area. Ziggy fighting Void. Rebecca's in the area where Mother is currently disappearing. And the Eden's One is taking on the Eden Zero. Chapter 284. Xenoflare. Oh, that sounds cool. That sounds like an attack name. Xenoflare! Alright, we pick up with Shiki in the heart of the chronophage, encountering the entity at the center. Shiki and the being lock eyes, and Shiki's bewildered, questioning, what? Who's she? Is she the heart of the chronophage? The being slowly moves their hand upward. Ooh, and then unleashes a massive gust. The wind around them whips up even harder than before, pretty much knocking Shiki back. Whoa, what the hell? B-cubes and Lenda. These are all the things that the chronophage has consumed, right? The pillars from Lendard, and that's that tower. What was it called? I know that location, right? It feels so familiar, but I can't place the name. That's gonna bug me. I'm pretty sure we know that tower. Or am I tripping? I don't know. Yeah, I see little Shiki inside, huh? Shiki looks around, questioning, what is all this? When suddenly the pillars from Norma come careening towards him. He barely manages to avoid the, Earth Ether pillars? He jumps from one to another as they crash into the cityscape below him, destroying several buildings. The entity inside the chronophage calls out to Shiki, questioning, who are you? Oh, okay, it has to be some version of Rebecca. She goes in with a kick, but that doesn't look like the symbol for Cat Leaper, yeah. To double check, I'm like, that doesn't look like the Cat Leaper symbol. But it's kind of like she's using one of Rebecca's kick. She goes in to kick Shiki, but Shiki manages to block. Shiki tells her, I'm Shiki. Oh man, her feet are kind of gnarly. Almost look like hands. The entity repeats the name, Shiki. Who is it? Shiki jumps back from the being, questioning, who are you? The entity then grasps at their heads, saying, Shiki, Shiki. She then shouts, I am a priestess whose time was stolen, and she dashes forward towards Shiki. She once again goes in for another kick that Shiki manages to block as she shouts, give it back. Give me back my time. Shiki seems to strain against the attack. He then questioned, so you've been going around eating planets' time because you want to get your time back? He then goes in for a kick, knocking her back. Although, I'm not sure if he knocked her back or if she's simply flipping backwards. I don't know, there's something about her body that's just weird. Shiki says, I don't know what happened to you, but you're causing a lot of trouble for everybody. I'm going to make sure you behave. But first I need your help. Just one. I need you to eat Mother and send her back to the time when she was Earth. Of course we're cutting away. We cut back to the battle between the Edens 1 and the Eden 0. Sister at the control panel. Witch at the control panel says Starbringer charged to 60%. Damn, I thought it was going to take a lot longer to get that charge up, but we're already at the 60%. Hermit's at her console saying their ether numbers are rising. They're going to fire their main cannon too. Of course. Wise questions. So they have the same weapons we do? Oh god. And the eyes of the Edens 1 begin to glow. Oh, he's communicating with Void. Oh, that's not good. Or is Void controlling him simultaneously while fighting against Ziggy? They are essentially the same entity, more or less, right? That's still the case, right? I kinda love the panels, though, where you just switch from the glowing eyes of the Edens 1 to the eyes of Void. We then cut to the battle between Void and Ziggy, with Ziggy saying, even if you destroy Mother, you can't create a world inhabited only by machines. Void tells him Mother is already gone. Now all the lowly humans will die out. Ziggy then states, you and I were both human once. And Void, as he races towards Ziggy, says, that fact too will fade into nothing. Ziggy readies himself while questioning, don't you see any way to coexist? Void says there is only one way, a world made only for machines. The two then clash, trading punches, and Ziggy asks, why do you hate humans so much? Void responds, it has nothing to do with hatred. I determined that humans are unnecessary for the future that I have calculated. Typical thing. A robot who feels that it's not that I hate humanity, it's just that humanity need not be around. As simple as that. Ziggy then manages to knock back Void while shouting, the future that you calculated isn't the only future there is. Human or robot, everyone has their own vision of the future, and no one has the right to deny them that. Ziggy says as he goes racing towards Void, but Void smirks, saying, as if you have any right to talk. You are the one who created me. Ziggy goes in for a kick, but Void dodges, with Ziggy saying, I am, and I know what it feels like to be a parent who failed to raise his kid properly. But Void says, I am a super evolved AI. I don't recall being raised by anyone. Ziggy says, in that case, I have a chance to start over and do it right. What a weird conversation. Void sneers, saying, has it still not gone through your head? As long as I have the power of time, you cannot defeat me. Whoa. Suddenly Ziggy's back flap or cape-like things, wings, I don't know. They detach and become like satellite or outward components? Hard to describe that. Yeah, even Void's like, what are those? The detached components then goes encircling Void, getting closer and closer. Void questions, you're controlling them with gravity. Ah, there it is. The name of the chapter. As he says, dance, Xenoflare. Void can only dodge the blades and just barely. But he says, you think these puny little gadgets can. But one then moves in on him, much to Void's shock. Ooh! And it manages to sever both of Void's legs. I wonder if he'll try to undo that by some means. It was Ziggy saying your time powers were in your legs. Oh, that's actually a good point. Yeah, because that's the way in the bad futures, Rebecca would always have lost her power because her legs were gone. Is it that simple though? Well, there's definitely gonna be a point where Void just gets his legs back, whether it be through gravity manipulation or we find out that, well, because he's an android, robot, whatever you want to call him, losing his legs don't really mean diddly, and it doesn't stop Jin from doing his thing. But that entity within the chronophage, because we had seen the consequences of Rebecca excessively using her power, but we didn't know what the end result could be. This would be a good time to see what the end result of Rebecca overusing her abilities is. Because even on her eyes, you see what look like, almost like the cracks that Rebecca had on her face. Almost. I could see it. And the idea of a priestess of time, that's Rebecca's whole family. So either she's a relative, which I don't think I want that. That feels a little too much like end of fairy tale. Hey Lucy, here's your ancestor from several thousand years, or was it? No, 100 years in the past. It's like, no. An alternate version of Rebecca who used her powers too much. Like, just the idea of the fact that it could be a alternate version of Rebecca has a lot of interesting consequences. And it makes sure that Cat Leaper is a power that always had consequences. You know, such a strong power isn't just some get out of jail free card. Like, maybe, spoiler alert, much like in the Flash movie. Well, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How will the Zero manage to deal with the Eden's One? Is Void actually down for the count? And what is it that Shiki is being shown by the being inside the Chronophage? What is it in search of? Time will tell. So again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Thank you so much for watching. And until the next one, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I can't wait to see you later. Till then, bye-bye.